Odemakinde Elisha is a Nigerian-born AI scientist, tech entrepreneur, and the founder and CEO of RecLab Inc., a forward-thinking AI innovation company building category-defining products that serve Africa and the world. With a strong background in artificial intelligence, Elisha is passionate about solving complex real-world problems using data and intelligent systems. He leads the development of two fast-growing AI-driven products, Trackers AI, a sports performance analytics platform helping grassroots football teams unlock insight from their matches, and Bim Bingpe AI, right? A customer engagement and sales automation platform for restaurants across Africa, the UK, and the US. Both products are built to transform underserved industries using localized AI infrastructure and simple, scalable tools. Elisha is increasingly recognized as one of the emerging voices building the future of applied AI from Africa. A round of applause for Elisha. So, Elisha will be having you talk about what you do and speak on AI for the next 5 to 10 minutes. You have the floor. Thank you.
I want to say thanks to the Must Company for the opportunity to be live here. Um, thank you very much. It's a real privilege, and I want to thank the organizers for putting this together. So basically, he has actually read everything that we do at Rec Labs. So Rec Labs Incorporation is a US company actually, and what we do is simply AI research and AI engineering. Um, so some of the products that we've built as a company revolves around sports analytics and restaurant operating system. Just as we are all seated here, this is a typical example of a restaurant whereby we all walk in to have a wonderful dining experience, reservation experience, pickups, delivery. So what we did was we decided to build out an AI called Bingpe AI. So I want to talk about Bingpe AI actually with respect to the restaurant operating system. So Bingpe AI is literally an AI that helps restaurants, owners, managers to be able to manage everything with respect to their payments, their deliveries, their orders, their reservations, and so many other things that we do, right? So with Bingpe AI, restaurants can build customer loyalty, they can build relationship with their customers, keep their customers coming back. Just as we are all seated right here, a lot of restaurants don't have a lot of our data. So how do they make sure that we keep coming back to come have that wonderful experience? So let's assume, for instance, this restaurant wants to have a special event next week Friday, right? How do you get to know that, yeah, there's a special event next week Friday happening here? So this is one of the things why we built the AI. With the AI, people can literally take your babe on a date. It can schedule um, dining, reservation. All you just have to do is just to come into the restaurant and have a wonderful experience. So that's that with one of the products that we built. And we have quite a number of other products. Another one that we built is Trackers. Trackers is simply a sports AI, an AI that watches sport analytics, watches sport games, football, basketball, volleyball. Just think of any kind of sport or anything, any athletic event, right? So it's an AI that watches those sport events and generates analytical insights. And some of our customers are players, coaches, sport clubs, and scouts. So, for instance, we have a lot of African players who have been scouted by a lot of academies within the sport ecosystems as a result of the usage of this of our product called Trackers. So, with the solution, a typical player on the from home can literally record himself, upload to Trackers. Trackers generates all the analytical insights, key features like heat maps, key statistics, and some key statistics like goals, goal scoring, defense, and so many other things. And then with that, A scout can literally look at all those information and statistics and make a decision to scout for this player or to hire this player. So this is what we've actually built, and I want to thank you for this wonderful privilege to be able to talk about this. Thank you.
Ubio Obu is the CEO of Remostat, is an AI and blockchain researcher. His academic background is in artificial intelligence. Ubio has about 5 years of experience in researching. His research works have cut across different fields from AI to IoT, agriculture, environment, blockchain, HR, human behavior, etc. Wow. He currently has about 7 research paper publications in reputable journals like the American Institute of Physics and IEEE. He has a two patents that cut across the use of AI and IoT under application and a copyright on a book titled Research Writing for Beginners. At Remostat, Ubio is not just the CEO, but the AI team lead, leading the innovation and integration of AI in Remostat and companies under them. Is is the Deep Funding Dev Outreach Coordinator and a member of the Deep Funding Group. Ubio currently sits at the Intersect Constitutional Council, where he contributes to the constitutionality of governance actions. Ubio is a Microsoft Windsider recipient, KECTIL Leadership Fellow, and a Singularity Net Ambassador. A round of applause for Ubio Obu.
Yeah, so thank you so much for that powerful introduction. I'm Uvi Ogu, and for what I do at Remostat. So Remostat is more like a building and innovation lab that focuses on talent hiring, software development, and AI innovation, so venture building and a lot. So we take a very unique model to the ecosystem, right? We are trying to see how do we create. So we build people and build companies. I think that's like the simplest way to define what Remostat does, right? So we build people means that we don't just hire people out. We don't just hire people out to companies. Is that we build the people that we actually hire out, and then when we say we build companies, right, that's the innovation engine. We currently have about 7 startups that are currently in Remostat, funded, and we have a high focus on AI and blockchain, obviously, because the CEO is focused on those particular technology, right? So we currently, I think, in the past 2 years, we've been able to help more than 6 startups get access to funding. Cumulatively, it's about $1 million if you're adding everything up. And so that's what we do at Remostat, right? But talk about me as a person, I think I'm just a person enthusiastic about the development of AI and generally the blockchain space. I think Alicia and I were already having some conversations. We've met ourselves at different times, and I think if there's something we have as a passion, is we always discuss how do we create an ecosystem where AI thrives, right? And I think that conversation is what I'm quite passionate about. For me, my approach to creating that ecosystem where AI and blockchain thrives is by creating an enabling environment for innovation to sprout, right? For me, I believe that innovations are like seed. And so when I see the guys in YC, I don't think they have a better brand than the people over here. What I realized that is the difference is the fact that these guys just have an enabling environment, right, to actually enable those innovations to thrive. AI being the next frontier of human civilization means that we need to invest heavily for us to be able to stand at the forefront. I'm going to end by giving us a typical illustration. Sorry, Alicia, I'm still answering the question you asked me there, right? Alicia asked me and said, how do we create an AI ecosystem where we have a lot of AI talents in Nigeria? How do we create that? And I want us to look at the India example. Sorry, I stayed in India for a long time, so I learned I learned a lot from that ecosystem. In India, parents, in fact, in Nigeria, when you get medicine and surgery, your parents go to church to go and give testimony, and whatever what the worship, they literally, because that's how much they respect that profession. In India, it's the opposite. If you get computer science and engineering, if you get data science, if you get they literally kill to get into that space. They do. And when I was answering, I said, so what caused it? It was because Airtel, sorry for the nonsense Airtel is doing here in Nigeria, but Airtel is a different guy over there in India. Airtel made data so cheap that competitors did not have any other alternative, like the Geo and other guys, than to also bring down the price of data. Because infrastructure is where the game really lies. So the infrastructure for connectivity was where Web 2 and the internet strength actually lied. So when data was as cheap as water, right, in India with my 400 rupees, I'm going to be getting about 3 gig every single day for 2 months. Like when it finishes the next day, they give me another 3 gig. It finishes, they give me another 3 gig. And I don't mean the MTN 3 gig. Right. So now that infrastructure changed the game. What's supposed to be a privilege of the few, access to information, was now democratized, right? And then everyone could have access to it. And as a result, now you have an ecosystem where you have the best of talents, the best of front-end developers, back-end developers. In fact, in India, it was such an ecosystem that it challenged the way I think. I used to sit down with my friends and we're going to be discussing something, and I'll be like, can we create a shoe that can stand on the air? And the next day, somebody like, just imagine the craziest thing, and somebody's trying to do it. Like, then when we cannot do, we now do something we call juga. Juga is like doing it in a magu magu way, but anyway, let's get it done. You get. But I learned a lot from that system of seeing people who don't understand no as an answer. And that's the spirit in Nigeria, actually. So they have a similar spirit that we do have, but we don't have the same infrastructure that they were able to have. So in AI, I was telling him, I said, we need something that can democratize access to GPU as well. When computing can be simplified and then everybody can create their own simple AIs, do whatever they do. Computing is no more a privilege of the few. Then you will see an ecosystem and you will see that innovation is not just a privilege it's not just until you get to Harvard. Innovation can actually happen in this part of the world. So that's what we're trying to do with the Remostat AI labs and blockchain lab. Hopefully we'll be able to get to that space where we'll democratize access to this computing, access to these things, and more people will be able to build and change the narrative of Africa generally.
Hi, my name is Umar. So my question on AI is, most people want to learn AI, but they don't have the equipment needed, right? Because for example, if you want to go into fine tuning and all those stuffs, you need GPU servers, and most people don't have the capacity. So, and at the end, if you try using some free GPU servers like there's this Google one, it's Colab, yeah. It might not be enough for you for what you need. So what's your advice? Should I quit the AI until I get money, or what should I do?
All right.
All right. So that's actually a very wonderful question. What I would say basically is the best way to start learning AI is you don't have to have a GPU before you start learning it. Okay. Even that little Google Colab, Kaggle, and the likes that gives you access to some GPUs for some hours or something is enough for you to actually learn the fundamental. The most important thing about learning AI with AI is not just you churning data at GPUs and wasting credits. I tell people a lot. When I tell people how I've been able to run my complaint for the last 5 years, building two products that are running on GPUs, running on the likes. When I tell them, okay, this is the amount I spend on credits on AI, they are shocked. The most important thing about AI is you understanding how it works, you understanding how it thinks. A model, if the data is bad, you are going to get bad results. So it's not a matter of the model, the GPUs, and you'll be wasting a lot of money. So I hope I've been able to answer your question with respect to that. So just get the fundamentals right, and they don't have to be complex. Basic things, right? Yeah, that's just it.
Yeah, just to add to that, I think Elisha actually, so because of the nature of what I do at Remostat, I have to sit at two different side of it. At one side, I'm sitting talking to talents. At the other side, I'm sitting talking with builders, right? So, and this is a general answer I give, not only with respect to AI. Um, any field you want to go to, please, I will beg you, go to the fundamentals. The main problem we do have is we have builders who don't understand the fundamentals of anything, right? So, and that is where the difference lies. Do you want to be an engineer or do you want to be a technician? And I think we have more technicians in this part of the world than engineers. Engineering is the ability to be able to understand how a system operates in order for you to be able to put it together to create new products. So many times I meet problems and you can never meet all the AI problems you need. So sometimes a client comes to me and is giving me a problem, and that's generally the first time I'm hearing that problem. But because I understand the fundamentals, my head can already begin to, I'm thinking what you're saying, I'm hearing in algorithms, right? So I'm hearing, okay, in this other research paper I read, there was this other stuff that this guy did here. So we can combine that with this other thing, and then we can add this other thing, and then this way we are able to solve this problem or create this solution that the person is actually looking for, right? So my head is interpreting something totally different from what the person is saying. You get that's because I do understand the fundamentals. So please, if you want to do anything AI ML, please don't become another. We have a lot of technicians. They just wrap for the last 2 weeks we're trying to hire for a client. It was a crazy experience. How do you say you are an AI ML engineer? You don't even know what quantization is. He was talking about things like memory optimization and all this stuff. When you don't understand quantization, memory optimization, and all of that, how are you going to be able to limit GPU usage and then ensure that you build solutions that are not just efficient but are also optimal, right? So when I'm talking to clients, you see, I'm talking about all of this. I'm thinking about the optimization, I'm thinking about the cost efficiency, I'm thinking about the memory utilization, I'm thinking about what's the best part for this. You get so it's possible to even get a solution, but that solution is going to take much more computing. So I'm going to be like, no, I'm not going to use this. But why can I do that? Because I understand the fundamentals. And I'm saying this to all of us as engineers, right? Please focus on the fundamentals. All these chat GPT rappers, you just hear, I know I'm an AIML engineer, and all what the person does is just create a wrapper around chat GPT and it comes out and beat the chest. That guy is going to be paying a lot of money to ChatGPT. But if you knew how to do it, right, the person will be spending just little money, maybe less than over 100 of that amount, because he's just paying for a little computing because you know how the system works. We need engineers, not just technicians. Yeah, thank you so much for that question. So I think he's trying to say um, we have countries like South Korea, Singapore, bigger countries, right? US, right, where we have a big AI boom, right? Why are we here in Nigeria? Why are we doing what we're doing, right? So first off is the fact that I I am Nigerian, and I used to say the easiest place to thrive is where you are. There is no place, and I say this as someone that is well traveled, right? I was in Switzerland 3 months ago for the AI for Good. This thing, I was in Turkey just recently. Most of them for AI related events, right? There is no place to succeed as Nigeria. So that's because I'm a Nigerian, right? So because I am Nigerian, I know the terrain very, very, very well. When I get into another country, the first thing I have to spend time learning the terrain. What is optimal here is not optimal over there. What is okay here is not okay over there. I have to learn the cultural difference. I have to learn how. Like I was making a joke with him yesterday, and I was like, when we were talking and they were doing like this, and I was thinking they meant no, not knowing that it was yes, right? I have to learn all of this, right? So because of this, Nigeria is the optimal place for Nigerian builders to survive. Now, am I saying that we cannot survive in other spaces? I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that you have to always operate from your area of strength. That's the first point. But the second point is that, you see, if all of us keep going to solve other people's problem, who will solve our problems? Who will? Somebody has to solve the problems in Nigeria, right? And we all sit on the efforts of people who did these same things years ago, right? So we talk about the tech boom in Nigeria, whether we like them or not, it's the Yabojis, and whatever we like about their political affiliations is different, but we will always give respect to those whom respect is due. People left their comfort zone. People came down to Nigeria. People built this ecosystem that today we are all thriving on. So somebody also needs to build for the next generation, and that is the reason why we are doing. So two things. One, I don't think I understand any other country the way I do understand Nigeria. But two, we all owe it as a moral responsibility for the next generation to build the right environment for them to also come and thrive.
So also, I think he also asked a question like, what next? What is next for Nigeria when it comes to AI? Like, what's the future of AI
Okay,
in
yeah,
Nigeria?
I think I forgot that question. Thank you for the reminder. So what next for AI now? So this is it. Because AI is still nascent in Africa, it means we have better problems to solve. And I think I'm an entrepreneur because I solve problems, not because I run away from problems. So when you go to the US, sometimes I see some products they are building, and I say, these are products of people that have finished solving problems. Yes. Yeah, these are products of people that have finished solving problems. So, with all due respect to South Korea, with all due respect to Singapore, but some of the problems they are currently solving are problems that are solutions to the solution that they already created to other problems. Does it make sense? Right? But in Nigeria, we need to use AI, for example, to create education. These are basic human solutions. I'm currently working on a Google Meet, something like a Google Meet, an inclusive Google Meet, right? That helps people that are deaf and dumb to be able to interact, right? So they can come into our spaces, come for meet and all of those kind of stuff. Those are real problems. When I'm talking about the problems, you see, I'm talking about humanity. But when they're talking about go to YC and see the problems they're solving. They're talking about, we are trying to create an agentic AI that is going to be able to link one company. And I'm just looking like, what is this? We are still having basic problems in this part. So what next for AI I said it, I remember one of the big scientists in AI, we were having a conversation last year in Thailand, and he asked me, he said, Ubio, what happened? What do you think? His name is Ben Godsell, very popular guy, the founder of SingularityNet. And he told me, he said, Ubio, what do you think will be Africa's future when AI takes over the job? And I said, I laughed at him. I said, AI is not going to be able to touch Africa. You know why? AI will take over the jobs of the places that data has already been filled. Our data is not even, we've not even canonized our data. So which job is it going to take? We're still far behind. So AI and I told him something. I said, what next for Africa? Still that question. Africa is going to become where the last hope of human intelligence still exists, because when you go to the Western world, you see an artificial lifestyle. Here we still have the original lifestyle. They will need this original data of what humans supposed to be like, how humans supposed to interact, and they will remember that only one place still have that hope, and that is us here in Africa. So we are here to build, and we are here to take that market.
Well, I think he has said it all. But I just want to add, right? What's next for Africa is, number one, I think we need to spend more time developing talents. We need to spend more time developing talents, and then we need to have more developers get familiar with AI, the usage of AI. All right. And that's one of the reasons why I celebrate what the 3MTT is doing and the federal government is doing with respect to this. So, which means we still need to train a lot of talents, get them up to speed with respect to that, and also and let them solve basic problems with the usage of some of this AI, with usage of AI that we are very familiar with. So I think that's just what I would just love to contribute.